What's up, people? I know it's been a little short minute since I've done any album reviews. Between work and sleep and trying to work on try to write 2 books at the same time, I just haven't had a whole lot of time to be on here, but got some free time today, so I want to do a review of alternative R&B singer Jaymes Young, his debut mixtape entitled Dark Star. Jaymes Young, I don't really know a whole much on him as far as background info. I think I heard he's from Seattle. He's now residing in LA. Like I said, he's an alternative R&B artist, kind of similar to if any of you have heard of JMSN or How to Dress Well. He's kind of in that realm of like alternative R&B. But I stumbled on him randomly in the first track I heard from him, which I'm not gonna go too much in depth about it right now. But he did a cover of Hadaway's "What Is Love," which was pretty dope. But I'll get into that later. That was the first track I heard from him that made me actually want to download the tape. So let's jump right into it. This tape is pretty short, 13 tracks. He has a very kind of atmospheric sound. I call it alternative R&B because he sings over like kind of different fusions of music. It's real, mostly for the most part, it's real mellow, kind of like mellow electric. He has a few popish songs on here, but for the most part, it's that real, it's kind of mellow, atmospheric, airy vocal, sounding kind of tracks. And he has a pretty good singing voice. He has some, I guess, typical R&B content on this tape. A lot of tracks about, relationships and heartbreaks and, all the feelings in between when you're going through that and that whole, when you're going through that whole situation. But he has a nice little style, nice little pocket that he fits into. I'll describe more when I go into some tracks, which, I'll do that right now. Standout tracks. The opening track, he starts off with Dark Star, which is, the title of the tape. You know me, I say it on almost every review. You gotta start strong, you gotta end strong. This was a good track to open the tape with. It's a nice mellow track about, he's calling himself a dark star because he's pretty much telling this chick that, he has a lot of flaws and things about him in his past that she might not know about, and he's still wondering if, if this chick will still care for him the same if she finds out, all of the things that he's done in his past. And for this song, like a lot of the tape, it's kind of, you get this slow tempo, I guess like electronic beat, almost kind of. Another standout track, 2 More Minutes. This track is a little more radio friendly. Like if he was to ever be on the radio, I could see this song probably being a single. Has some synths in the background. Has a much more of a just a pop sound to it. One of the few tracks on here I would say that has kind of that pop sound to it. It's kind of, I don't know, I'm not gonna say it's corny, but even if it is corny, for me it's catchy. So, it was one of the standout tracks that I do go back and listen to. One Last Time is another good one. The lyrics in this track are actually pretty good. He's just talking about wanting to spend really one last moment with his girl before he inevitably passes away. And I like the airy vocals in the background that kind of helps with the feel of the track. Fragments is another good one. It pretty much talks about how he tried to keep his relationship, going with his significant other, but eventually they had to break up. But they struggled, hard to try and keep it together. But he's saying basically they only had fragments and there wasn't really anything else there to keep them together, so they had to call it off. That's another dope track. And then that track, the next standout track, is What Is Love, which I'll get into. I'm pretty sure, hopefully, if you haven't been living under a rock for the last, forever and a day, you've heard the Hadaway's What Is Love song. Very upbeat, up-tempo, dance, sounding track. And what I like about this cover was he took an original song that was, really, really upbeat, and he flipped it into like a completely different mood. This cover is really stripped down as far as instrumentation, not a whole lot going on, and he just made it a very melancholy, just really mellow track. But I just like it because he made this cover his own, which is what cover should be. He didn't just simply redo what Hathaway already did. He took what Hathaway did and he put his own nice spin on it, and it really fit the mood of the rest of the album. Another standout track, Parachute, which is another more slightly a little more upbeat than some of the other tracks on here. Basically him talking about ending his relationship. He's using parachute as a way to say that he's jumping. In one of the paraphrase the lyrics, he's saying he's using the parachute to jump out of the plane, with the plane symbolizing their relationship, and he's pretty much burning all bridges and losing contact and with everything with the girl or whatever. Like I said, it's one of the more slightly upbeat tracks, but it's still, even with the upbeat tracks that he does have on here, they don't sound like out of place, so it still all fits in. Hold You Down was another good one. This probably was the most upbeat track on the whole tape. Another track about him, ending a relationship. Another track, which was one of the closing tracks, the second to last track, I believe, actually, that was on this tape. As Long As You Love Me, which was a Justin Bieber cover. And just like the Hathaway song, he took a song that was originally, upbeat, and he just has a way of making his covers, turning them into these like just mellow, atmospheric tracks, and he does a really good job at that on this one. And the last track I mentioned is the closing track, which is Northern Lights, which is another just nice mellow track to close the tape out. And yeah, that's some of the tracks on here. There were a few tracks, I would say, as far as cons on this tape, there were a few tracks I could have gone without. Wondering, one of them, and Running on Fumes. They weren't necessarily bad tracks, but I don't know, for me they just didn't do much. And I'd say the only other con is, I guess, the whole relationship subject matter can get, I guess, a little repetitive and redundant. But I think with his lyrics, though, he does a good job of, even though his subject matter can get repetitive, he finds good ways, I guess, to recreate kind of the same thing, so it doesn't get too boring while you listen to it sometimes. And I think it also helps the fact that this mixtape is only 13 tracks, so being that it's not a long listen, even though the subject matter can get a little repetitive, it's still you can sit through the whole thing. Like if this was 18 tracks, then it probably would be too long to listen to him, talk about the same thing over and over. But 13 tracks, nice, short, and compact. Pretty good all the way through. This is a pretty good debut. Like I said, I like his whole alternative, R&B style over these, mellow, chill, electronic, kind of beats, that whole atmospheric feeling. And yeah, if you like guys like Jaymes Young and How to Dress Well, or if you've never heard of them, but you like Jaymes Young, go check those dudes out. They're kind of in that same have the same feeling kind of as he does. A little bit different, but still a little bit the same at the same time. But yeah, man, overall, I enjoy this. Like I said, it's a little typically different from what I normally review, but it caught my ear, so I definitely recommend, checking this out. Like I say all the time, free 99. Worst thing that can happen is you download it, don't like it, and it goes into your recycle bin. But whatever. I think you'll come away with a few tracks. If anything, you'll have to like the Hathaway cover. I know I did. That's the one track that anytime I put this tape on, I go back and listen to. So I just thought he did a really good job of just flipping that song into a completely different direction and making it his own. But yeah, Jaymes Young, Dark Star, go download it, check it out, tell me what you think. I liked it. Hopefully I'll be back soon to do another review, but until next time, peace.